G'day everyone. That appears to be working. I'm not going to sit around and wait for my hair's all messy, but my reflection is mirrored that way. Anyway, I'm not going to sit around and wait for I'm distracted by my hair. Hang on, I'll just go like this. That'll do. Right. I'm not going to sit around and wait for people to join because the plan is I am going to just film a live stream and I'm going to suggest a whole heap of video ideas. And then when the live stream's finished, I'm going to race into my office. I'm going to jump on my home computer and I'm going to put links to a lot of this stuff that you can buy online in the video description. Some of the stuff I'm going to be showing you is sponsored, some isn't sponsored, some is only available online, some is available in-store. There's a bit of everything here. It's not a lot of actual fishing stuff. Back a bit. Give myself a bit more room. Holly calls this my Freddy Krueger shirt. Anyway, it's not a lot. It's not going to be all actual fishing stuff. There's a lot of fishing and outdoor stuff. I just want to give people some ideas on what they can buy their loved ones for Christmas. This video was inspired by my amazing friend Cherie. Actually, it wasn't inspired by Cherie. It was suggested by Cherie because she doesn't know what to buy the men in her life for Christmas. So, without any further ado, let's go through a heap of things here. They're just suggestions. There's going to be fishing lures, extra stuff that you take fishing, little gadgets and stuff. I've got about 12 or 13 things here, I think. Now, if make sure you send this to your wives. If you're a bloke watching this, and my analytics tell me that 90% of my audience is male, so make sure you send this to your wives or your kids because you might end up getting something you really want for Christmas if you're lucky. But seriously, a lot of women just don't know what to buy their sons or what to buy their husbands or their brothers and stuff. So this video will be geared more towards women that don't know much about fishing that want to buy something for their loved ones. So let's start. The first suggestion is this. This is a Yabby brag mat, and it is awesome. Basically, it's just a mini brag mat that goes to 40 centimeters, and it's designed for putting yabbies on. You put the yabby on, you stretch it out, and you measure it. But I actually use it when I'm fishing for trout, redfin, and blackfish because it's small. Sometimes I catch trout that are over 40 centimeters. Most of them aren't. Most of my redfin aren't over 40 centimeters, and I've never caught a 40 centimeter blackfish. So while it's designed for yabbying, it's also very handy for taking fishing, for just putting in your shoulder bag when you're walking up a stream. It's a lot lighter and smaller and more compact than the big 120 centimeter long brag mats. So the Yabby brag mat, and you get them from Decal Evolution. That's the website. It's written on here, I think. decalevolution.com.au. Now, I will be putting links to all of this stuff in the video description below the video, but it won't be for a while. Basically, when I go live, I can just go over there like that. Basically, when I go live, after I finish going live, YouTube has to process the video, and that takes half an hour or so, and then I can go in and add all the links and a custom thumbnail and all that sort of stuff if I haven't already done it. Right. Next thing, if the person you're buying for wants to film his video adventures, whether it's to put them on social media or for his own personal use, I use and recommend the DJI Action 4. Now, DJI have just released an Action 5. I haven't got one of them yet. That's in the plans for next year. I have no affiliation with DJI. I've been using GoPros and DJI cameras for 10 years or so now, and I just find the DJI cameras are better than the GoPro. GoPro can be a bit glitchy. The DJI is better. Now this is the older model. This is the DJI Action 3. This is an excellent camera. The only difference between the Action 3 and the Action 4, in my case, apart from being dirtier, the Action 3's got a smaller sensor. The bigger sensor of the Action 4 makes it better for filming in low light, like twilight periods and stuff. Sometimes this will see more than my eyes can when the sun goes down and I'm just watching for those finicky nibbles. If you can get an Action 3, get one of them because it's cheaper and it's got the exact same features. But if you can't get the Action 3, I suspect now that the Action 5 is out, there's not going to be very many of them around. If you can find one, you should be able to get it at a good price. If not, the Action 4. Now, these are quite expensive. They're like $400 or $500 or something. If you don't have that sort of money, there are cheaper camera alternatives. I was in at Harvey Norman here in Wangaratta the other day, and they've got a lot of, is it X0 or something? I'm not sure of the brand. I don't know what the quality's like. with these expensive cameras, they've got really good horizon leveling and horizon balancing. They've got great image quality and they've got really incredible image stabilization. I don't know whether the cheaper brands of cameras offer those features, but they're cheaper for a reason. So if you can't afford them, it's not the end of the world. There are cheaper alternatives, but I'm here to show you what I use and what works for me. Now, I have got some fishing lures and stuff here, and I'll get to that towards the end. A lot of people ask me about this in my videos. This is a fishing rod rest that sticks into the ground, and the fishing rods lean on there when I'm bait fishing. So when I get a bite, if a fish goes to pull my rod in, it can only sort of pull to there. Once the eyes on the rod or the reel hits that, it can't go any further. If it's in sand, it'll pull the whole rod holder down and it can go. But for the best part, this has saved me so many fishing rods over the last few years. These I think they're not super cheap. They're like $40 or $50 or something like that. A friend of mine named Simon Humphrey makes them. Simon made me one, sent it to my mail time and had a little shallow V. And I suggested, why don't you make them with a deeper V? And then people started wanting them and he started selling them. I think he's still selling them. You can only find, these are U-Butte fishing rod holders. You can only find them on Instagram, and I'll put a link to them below. But these are fantastic for saving fishing rods. They're made, I think they're $40 or $50. I'm sure you could buy a cheap Chinese-made one for a lot less, but this is made by a skilled handyman, a skilled welder and metal worker here in Victoria, in Shepparton to be exact. Right, let's put that somewhere where it doesn't fall. Now, what's next? Every fisherman needs a shrimp net. If you're buying for your son or daughter or your kids or nephew and they want to go down the river fishing and just having fun, they love shrimp nets. I love using shrimp nets. Basically, these shrimp nets are available everywhere. Most Kmart stores even have them now. And Big W, they're about $5 or $6 each, and they are just an awesome stocking filler, and they'll provide hours of enjoyment for your kids. How they work, that's the part where you put, that's the part that you put your hand in to pull your yabbies and your shrimp out. You put your bait in that little pouch and you do it up. And then the yabbies, or these are designed for shrimp, but they work well for yabbies as well. They've got like little funnels at the end. They walk in to get to the bait, they fall down, and they become trapped. Sometimes they get out after a while, but for the best part, they stay in there. They're super lightweight. They fold up to nothing. They're really cheap, and they're great stocking fillers. You can get them at any tackle stores pretty much, and even Kmart and probably Big W sell them as well. If I was a kid, I'd be happy with a couple of these under my Christmas tree. All right, moving on. I've got a few Olight products. I'll get to them later, will I? No, I'll get to them now. Right. Let's get to a couple of Olight products. Olight are a sponsor of mine, and I've got probably 20 different Olight products here that I could recommend, but I've recommended the ones that I like best. This is the Olight Array headlamp. If I turn that on, I think it's red. If I double-click it, it goes to white. Double-click it, it goes to white flood. And I can hold that indigo, low, medium, bright, low, medium, bright. The good thing about the Olight Array is that it's not going to show up very well on there, but it's motion censored. So if you're gutting fish and you've got wet hands or whatever, and you don't want to be touching your thing, you can just wipe your hand in front of it, and that'll turn it up and it'll turn it down. The other good thing about it is it's got a red light, so that if you're fishing at night time, I find red doesn't attract nearly as many bugs as what white light does. And I also find with the red light that if there's dogs and stuff at houses nearby, they don't sort of bark at it as much as what they do with white light. So a red light is very handy for fishing after dark when you don't want too much light. And I think some of our native fish, they don't like light shining on the water. So the red is a good option. Now, Olight do have other models. They had the fantastic Perrin 2 and Perrin 3 now. They're a much brighter light than this. They've got a lot more uses, but they're also bigger and bulkier on your forehead. This is a well-balanced light, and it's very good for fishing because it's not so heavy. The battery pack is on the back with the Perrin. It's on the front, and it keeps falling down onto the ridge of my glasses. They're both excellent lights, but I would recommend this one. That's why I chose this one for this video. Now, with these Olight products, they just had a flash sale, and unfortunately that's finished. But if you buy from the Olight website, because they're a sponsor of mine, I've got a discount code, Robbie10, and you'll save 10% at any time. So if you do buy something from Olight, make sure you're punching the code Robbie10 to save 10%, and I earn a bit too. I earn a bit of cash as well. Now, being that it's so close to Christmas now, I personally can't guarantee that it'll get delivered by Christmas. That's out of my control. All I can do is recommend the stuff. I probably should have made this video about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it was my friend Cherie gave me the idea yesterday. It's getting a bit warm in here. Also from Olight, this is the, I forget the name of this. This is it's a pocket knife. It's got this little lever on the back that you can flick open like that. It's a Heron, I think. Heron L. Oh, here it is. Heron L1 or LI. I think it's LI. Razor sharp. Doesn't have to be this one. Olight actually have a lot of different pocket knives that are similar. They have the Freeze, the Barato. This one, there's probably 8 or 9 different models and different sizes for you to choose from. But I've got 3 or 4 of them that I've been sent to review over the years, and they're all really good quality pocket knives. And they're razor sharp when they come. If you pull the little latch down at the back, you can just get it to flip up. And if you use a bit of wrist action, it comes up easy. And they're one-hand operations, so you can. They're all the same. All the models are the same. You can flick it open like that. And then there's a little lock in there. You got to push that aside to unlock it. That won't go down if you don't push that across. So you push that across, falls down, then you just hold it back in with your finger. And it won't fall because of this little knob here. It won't collapse onto your hand. It can only go that far. Then you can move your hand out of the way. Right. And I've got one more Olight thing. This is a great gift idea. I love this. This is an O-Knife. Olight have a subsidiary brand, I suppose you'd call it, called O-Knife. And this is an O-Knife. It's Optical, I think it's Optical A1, I think it's called. Anyway, Americans call it a hatchet. Mine's dirty because I use it a lot. Smells a bit carpy. That's because this is my number one carp knocker on the header. It's got like a little fork in here for lifting nails out, like a claw hammer. It's got a hole in case you need a hole for something. Same as up here. It's got a very heavy head on the end here for hitting carp on the head. And it's very sharp. Good for cutting fork-shaped sticks. Good for cutting kindling around the campsite. It's just a very handy gadget. And I take it with me fishing a lot. When I got this, I was sent a torch to review. I can't remember which one it was. Might have even been that Array. I can't remember. Anyway, I reviewed the torch, done this like 13 or 14 minute review, and at the end I said, check this out. Olight told me to choose something from their website as a gift or payment to say thank you for the video. So I chose the axe, and I sold more of them with that 30-second little bit of video footage than what I did with the rest of the video. So what that tells me is that this is very popular with blokes that like fishing. It's something that I highly recommend. Now, that's the end of the Olight stuff. Now I've got some fishing lures. I'm going to talk about trout and redfin and then Murray cod because they're the most popular fish species. Let's go trout. Now, Strike Tiger are a sponsor of mine and they have got a whole heap of different colours and sizes and shapes. These are the ones that work for me and that's why I'm recommending them. Let's start with the redfin. Redfin, we have the Banana Shock Curl Tail Grub. It's in 1.5 inch size. You can also get them in 3 inch. I like the 1.5 inch. There is white. It's called Whitebait Pearl. And the Whitebait Pearl also is a very, very good redfin plastic. This is great for redfin. Banana Shock Curl Tail Grub in 1.5 inch. And a good jig head to go with that is... Oh, I didn't choose a jig head. I chose the jig heads for the other lures, but not this one. Well, from what I've got here, any of these will work. The 1/8 ounce size 2, it's probably a little bit big. I'd go a 1/16 ounce size 4. I should have grabbed one, but anyway. So they've got the 1.5 inch curl tail grub. We've got the 3 inch minnow, from the Pro Series in orange spawn. I've got a shocking habit of calling this vodka an orange. That's a different color, but it's a similar orange. Orange spawn. And these 1 inch, these large 1/8 size 2 jig heads are ideal for that. And for trout, this is my all-time favorite trout soft plastic. That is the Strike Tiger Nymph in black and gold color. And a good size for that is 132 ounce size 4. 132 of an ounce size 4 jig head, and black and gold is my favorite color. Now, as I said, there's a lot of different colors for you to choose from. I'm just showing you what I like best, and you can make up your own mind and do what you want. Now, this is another dynamite trout lure. This is the Strike Tiger Micro Minnow in black caviar. What I've noticed in the past is that the black caviar works best after Christmas. The black and gold seems to work best up until Christmas. Must be something to do with the bugs that are in the air at the time. I'm not sure. But the black and gold micro minnow, sorry, the black caviar micro minnow, black caviar, and a 132 of an ounce, size 6. So this is really small. Some fish species like Murray cod, they're like a big food item to line their stomach so they can stay hidden for as long as they can. Other fish species like trout spend their days just moving around, just grazing on little weeny bugs, mosquitoes even, tiny little things. So they're happy to take a small food item. And I've caught some pretty large fish on these micro minnows. So that's the Strike Tiger micro minnow. So from Soft Plastics, from Strike Tiger, we've got the micro minnow, black caviar, the nymph in black and gold, the orange spawn for redfin, 3-inch Pro Series for redfin, and the 1.5-inch curl tail grub in banana shock. They're just my favourites, and I use lots of other different types as well. I've also got a couple of spinners here. These are also a sponsor of mine, and they are French Touch Tackle. They're quite new to the market, and I've just been cleaning up. In fact, spoiler alert, I've got a Lake Nilakudi video coming out soon. I put one of these on the other night at dark, and I started flicking around to see if I could catch a yellow belly, and I actually caught a Murray cod on one. It was on the white and red one. These are my favourites, the white. They're white with a bit of red on the end. I just think that they're dynamite for redfin. I like the white with the red on the end. And I like this sort of greeny, bluey, sort of shiny metallic colour for trout. I think a lot of bugs like blowflies and march flies have often got a green or a blue shine or something to them. And I just think that that mimics bugs that are occurring naturally. And then there's a new one that I don't know whether these have been released yet or not, though. Jet Black French Touch Tackle. It's a morpho spinner, a jet black morpho spinner, and that colour is called Robbie Raven, because I named the colour. Now, let's look at a few cod lures, and then we're done. So, if your son or husband or nephew or whatever he likes cod fishing, here is a suggestion for cod lures. Now, I'm not going to be talking about rods, reels, line, and other fishing tackle for this video. I think you're better off to go into a tackle store for that. The reason being, with lures, I use a whole heap of different lures. With rods, I use one rod. And then I don't spend a lot of time in tackle stores. So if I go into tackle stores, I generally go in to get something. I don't often browse, so I don't know what's on the shelves. People often ask me, Robbie, what's a good rod and reel for $150? Or what? I'm going yellow belly fishing. What rod do you recommend? I don't know, because I don't work in a tackle store. I don't know what's on the shelves, and my standard answer is, "G'day, mate. You're probably best off popping into your tackle store and asking them, because I don't work in a tackle store. I don't know." But I do use a lot of lures, and I've chosen 3 lures here for cod fishing that are versatile, affordable, and proven to be very good fish catchers. First of all, we've got the Stump Jumper. The reason I've chosen the Stump Jumper is they're so easy to find. You can get them at most tackle stores. A lot of big W's still have them, I think, and they used to be available at Kmart, but I don't think they are anymore. They're well priced. They're sort of, all 3 of these down the cheaper end, sort of $15 to $20 each. Some cod lures these days are up over $100, so these are all quite affordable in comparison to the others. So the number 1 Stump Jumper is a good lure. It's a good all-rounder for all size cod. If you're buying lures for kids, I'd suggest the number 2. It's only half the size, because these, when you pull them through the water, they push quite a lot of water, and you'll get sore wrists after a while reeling them in. They're great for casting. They cast well, and you can cast and retrieve them, but your kids will get sore wrists after a while because they're quite a big lure. So I'd suggest a smaller size 2. If they're trolling from a boat or something, if you're buying something for your hubby and he likes to troll, the number 1 Stump Jumper is a very good option. Another great option is the Old Mate lure. These aren't as easy to find as the Stump Jumpers. Trelly's in Shepparton sell them. I think there's a few stores around that sell them, and I'll put a link in the video description below to where you can find them anyway. Old Mate lures. I like this bright green colour in any lure. That's my favourite lure colour for Murray cod, but you just go with what you like. That's just, everyone's got their own favourites, but the Old Mate lure, there's 2 different sizes. I think it's a 15 and a 25, but I could be wrong. This is the... Actually, there's 3. There's a smaller one. Don't get the smaller one. The smaller one is for yellow belly. That's a different sort of lure for a different occasion. But there's 2 different. How do I explain this? There's 2 different size Old Mates, a small and a large. In the large, there's two different size bibs, a deep and a not as deep, I suppose you can call it. You want the larger lure, but with the smaller bib. It's the most common one there. I think it's rated to 15 feet. I'm pretty sure it's got, actually, I might have one in a box here. Here we are, I have two. This is a limited edition one from the Go Fishing the Gamby comp a few years ago. Up the top there, you'll see 15 feet. I knew there was a reason I bought a couple in their box. I've got to get the light right. Otherwise, if I do that, all you'll see is not much. So it's 15 feet. So Old Mate lures are excellent. They come in a variety of colours, and that's the 15 feet size that you want. And lastly, One Well Sumo. One Well have a few that got Sumo and a lunch, but it's the Sumo, the medium-sized Sumo that I like. It's an excellent casting lure. It's a little bit smaller than the Old Mate, which sort of makes it a little bit more enticing for yellowbelly. If you're Murray cod fishing in an area where there's yellowbelly, this will just help you catch yellowbelly as a bycatch. They come in a variety of colours. My favourite is Lamborghini, which is similar to this, but it's a deeper coloured green. I should have brought that one in with me. I might have one here. That's how they come in the box. Let's see if there's a size written on it. Haven't got very good lighting here. Haven't got very good glasses either. 100 millimetre. So you want the 100 millimetre. They come in a much bigger lure, which is good for the lower Murray and the lakes and stuff. But for casting around the timber and the snag, especially for young blokes, if they're going down the river casting lures like I do around the logs and the smaller waters and stuff, it's this one, the 100 millimetre that you want. And Lamborghini is my favourite. I may have one in here, but I'm not 100% sure. I've got my whole tackle box here. Well, one of them, the one that I take. This is the Lamborghini colour, but I didn't show it because it's missing the front hooks. That is my favourite. So the One Well Sumo, 100 millimetre One Well Sumo in Lamborghini is probably my favourite. There's a whole heap more that I could show you, but I just wanted to give you a couple of options from each thing, as well as a few other suggestions. Now I'm going to finish this live stream now, and then I'm going to wait for it to process. It'll process. YouTube will run scans through it and make sure it's not offensive and all that sort of stuff, and then it will be ready for me to edit. Then I'll go and I'll add all the links below in the video description. So check out the links below. Some of these things I won't link to, like the shrimp net and stuff like that that you can buy in tackle stores, but most of the stuff here I will link to, and I'll put discount codes and stuff where they're applicable so you can save 10%. So check out the video description below. But after I finish the live stream, just wait a little while, could be half an hour or an hour before they turn up. I hope you've all found this video informative and helpful. And big shout out to my friend Cherie for requesting this video. I hope it helps you, Cherie. Thank you all very much for watching.